Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. One of the biggest mistakes people make during job interviews is being too emotional. Now, a lot of people are told to smile and make people feel warm and fuzzy during a job interview, and they're told that they need to make the employer feel comfortable about hiring them. But that whole frame of mind basically messes up a lot of people because what they do is start getting too emotional and start expressing way too much emotion during the job interview, not seeing how it leads to a bad first impression on an employer and also makes them come from a position of weakness. Now, when it comes to job interviews, a lot of people, again, they get told to smile and be friendly in order to form a personal connection with the employer to make them feel comfortable. But making that employer feel comfortable basically puts them, when they get too emotional, in a position of weakness, where they basically go out and make a first impression on the employer that this is a weak individual that they can go out here and be able to take advantage of and manipulate and control. Because when a person is way too emotional, what they do is go out here and show an employer that there are things in their body language and their facial expression that they can use to go out here and be able to push buttons, especially if you're working in a business and you're talking directly to a supervisor you're going to be working with. They are basically taking notes of your behavior and seeing how you react to different things and use that as a way to say, hey, if I bring this person on the job, I can go out here and get this person to do more work than is described, because if I get that person too emotional, they will go out here and act on those emotions impulsively, not seeing how they're basically being used and taken advantage of to do more work than what was described in the job description. And when you have a person who is too eager or too filled with enthusiasm, basically an employer is reading that person and seeing, hey, this guy or this girl is a tool they can use to get from point A to point B and basically get this person to do labor for a much lower price than they would for another person. Now, when it comes to the workplace, a lot of people they come into the interview process approaching it from a place of emotion and not from a place of critical thinking, because if a person approached an interview from a place of critical thinking, they would understand that you need to really keep your emotions in check during the job interview, and you need to keep your emotions in check during the job interview because this is a two-way street. And with it being a two-way street, while you're looking to work at that business, you're looking to get your business taken care of, and you need to be focused on getting your business taken care of as related to this job. And you have to understand, when you're on this job, you're not here to make friends. No, you're here to be about your business. And with it being a two-way street, you basically want to be in a place where you're objective, so you can go and read that workplace and read the employer and their body language to see if this is a place where you would be a good fit for the employer, and look to find out if this environment will allow you to be able to compete in the workplace in the future. Because when it comes to too many people, they oftentimes approach interviews as a one-way street, and they think about the employer having all the leverage because they are the one who's going to offer them a job if they pass the interview. And as a result, what they do is look to try to persuade the interviewer or the employer based on their feelings regarding the job and how much they want it, but all that does is create the emotion of desperation in the eyes of the employer. And as they see the desperation and the eagerness and the just ambition of this individual, they can see opportunities to be able to manipulate that person based on weakness. And it makes it where this person, who is the employer, feels like they have all the cards as related to this person's life, and it's not a good place for an interviewee to be. Now, with an interviewee, you really want to be in a place of indifference, because when you're in a place of indifference, you can objectively assess that workplace, and you can objectively assess that workplace to see if it's a place that you can see as a good fit for you, and a place where you can see where you can use this position to basically be able to advance yourself competitively in the workplace. You really want to see if this workplace is a good fit for you, and that's why you want to go into an interview with indifference rather than come into an interview with emotion. Because when you come into an interview with indifference, you basically are in a place where you're taking a critical look at that workplace, you're taking a critical look at that employer, and you're taking a critical look at the employees and the work environment. And as you take that critical assessment of that workplace, you can see how that business is running and take a look at it before you actually talk to the interviewer and go out here and listen to what they have to say. Now, when you're objective and you're not emotional, what you can do is understand that the interviewer oftentimes is going to put on their best face to represent their company and look past that facade and really take a hard assessment of that company to see if it's a good fit for you and it's a place where you can go out here and compete. Because one of the biggest mistakes employees make is looking to be comfortable in a workplace instead of looking to be competitive. And this is what basically makes it where the job isn't satisfying for the employee or the employer, because they're looking to be comfortable, but the workplace is not about comfort. No, the workplace is an indifferent environment, and with it being an indifferent environment, it's all about being competitive, and you really don't want to be in a place where both of you are pretending to put on smiles and be happy, because the workplace is supposed to be about competition, and with it being about competition, you really are not really focused on your emotions, but what you want to focus on are the goals you want to accomplish as related to your career and advancing yourself. That's what you really want to focus on if you go to a job interview, is the goals you want to accomplish and how these goals are going to fit your overall long-term career. You want to focus on where this company is going to fit in your long-term goals, not be in a job where you're all pretending to be happy, but you're actually miserable because you're feeling warm and fuzzy in a place where you can't be comfortable, because the workplace is not a comfortable environment. No, the workplace is a competitive environment, and employers who are smart want to focus on trying to find individuals who are going to be focused on competing, because competing is something everyone is doing in the workplace, and we're looking to compete and bring your best to the table. Bring your best to the table based on critical thinking and not feeling. Now, one of the other mistakes people make in job interviews is looking for people to be so-called enthusiastic and super emotional regarding a job, and that's a major mistake, because while a person is out here in their feelings, this person is not somebody you want on your job, because they're going to act impulsively and possibly do optical damage to your brand. No, you want people who are indifferent to a point because they can be objective, and they can be objective as related to maintaining standards as related to the job. Moreover, when it comes to this indifference, it really helps a person focus on their passion. And again, a lot of employers get it twisted as related to enthusiasm, and they think that enthusiasm is passion. No, passion is something that somebody, again, shows how they care in the workplace. And as they care, they look to go out here and bring their best work to the table. They look to bring their best work to the table, and they understand that in order to bring their best work to the table, there has to be a level of indifference so that they can remain objective and look at the standards and the quality of their work. And look at the standards of the quality of their work, because their heart is in making the work the best work it can be. And a lot of employers don't really understand this because they're so busy looking for somebody to be emotional, and they're looking for somebody to be emotional so that they can go out here and hope to take advantage of their emotions, in the hopes of getting this person to go out here and lower the value of their labor, because they just are so eager to be there and so eager to prove themselves that what they do is go out and make a deal where, one, they wind up underpricing their labor as related to salary. Two, they go out here and get deals where they don't get all of the benefits that they should get. And three, a lot of times, because they're so emotional, they wind up doing poor quality work. And they do poor quality work because they are too emotional and too impulsive, and they don't really sit down and think critically about their work. And that's what happens to many employers when they hire people who are too emotional. That person while they may make you feel comfortable, they are not really a good fit for your company. And they're not a good fit for your company because they are so busy feeling that they cannot be able to think critically, and they cannot be taught anything. And because this person is so emotional, you can't really help them grow and develop in their craft because you can't really teach them anything. Yes, they may be very eager, but the whole thing is they are so eager that you just can't work with them, because as their anxiety flares up, they just, again, overthink things, they overanalyze things, or they just go too quickly, and it makes it where you don't have a person with that discipline to go out here and be able to do work, because their emotions get the better of them. And as their emotions get the better of them, they basically slow down your productivity because everything is about their feelings. And in some cases, if things aren't going their way, you can lose days of work because this person just decides not to come in. And that's where their enthusiasm and their overall feelings start to turn into an attitude, because they don't know how to, again, go out here and work as related to things because they don't have any indifference. But the whole thing is that when a guy goes to, or a girl goes to a job interview and they're too emotional, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for a person to be too emotional in a job interview, because if you're too emotional in a job interview, that basically shows that this person has a poor locus of self-control, a poor center of discipline, and really is going to become an eventual problem sooner rather than later, because one of the things you want to see is, again, that indifference and that discipline, because that means that that person is focused on the work they want to do and will be an asset to your company because they already have a focus on things that they want to do, and they have a series of goals that will help you achieve your goals, and they are focused, again, on doing the best job possible, because this is about building their reputation, building their professional reputation with tangible results, which is something you really want when you have a business, is someone focused on tangible results and ability to complete tasks. I mean, that's something that you really need to get but the whole thing is when you have people who are caught up in their feelings, a lot of times when they get frustrated, they wind up wanting to quit. But you really want someone who is disciplined and has a resolve and can get and can show a track record of tangible results. That's what you want from a potential employee. And again, you may not be able, the whole thing is that person may not show a lot of emotion, but they will show through their actions that they can get the job done. And you really want somebody who can get the job done, because that's going to make you feel comfortable about getting consistent results. And consistent results are something you want in an employee. You want the ability to go out and produce on a consistent basis. Yeah, that person may not make you feel comfortable, but that's a good thing, because in the workplace, you really want people focused on competing. You really want people focused on competing, because that's how you make money. That's how you get innovation. That's how you get creativity, is when people compete. And a lot of companies I've seen these days are more focused on comfort instead of competition. And this is why so many companies are struggling right now, because they want to sate the emotional needs of employees and make them feel good, instead of teaching them to be competitive in order to grow and develop these skills that they're going to need to compete and focus on where they want to go with their careers. No, a lot of companies really want to have comfortable employees, but comfort doesn't give you competition, doesn't help you grow. And what happens with comfortable employees is that they start to get lazy and they start to let standards slip. And as they let standards slip, things start to fall apart in these companies, because people are all about their emotions and feeling good. But the workplace is an indifferent place. And it's not about feeling good. It's about going out and having people focused on being the best at their task, focused on being at the best at their task, so that they can make the overall company synergize and work together. And all the people working together towards the goal of making the best products or the best services out there. That is the goal of a competitive business. And again, in order to get those kind of employees, you can't really focus on the person's feelings, but you have to focus on their whole mindset. And if their mindset isn't really about being focused on competing in the workplace and focused on making the best of everything, then it doesn't matter how warm and fuzzy you are if you can't produce results. You gotta have results, and again, in order to build your brand and your reputation. And while some people will sit there and say, oh, that guy may be a bit cold, or that guy may be a bit stoic, the whole thing is that man is focused on his goals and focused on his purpose. And you need people who are focused on goals and purpose if you hope to continue building your brand and your reputation. Yeah, you might want a smile here or there. And some guys, again, they smile as they're working. Again, they smile at their working because they're passionate about what they do. But they're not going to express too much emotion, because in the workplace, if you express too much emotion, guess what? People will see that as an opportunity to see a position, you coming from a position of weakness, and use that as a way to try to get an advantage over you in the workplace. Again, looking to devalue your work, looking to minimize your skills. And again, they want to get you emotional so that you can go out here and begin lower your value. And you don't want to do that in the workplace. You don't want to go out here and be too emotional, because guys who show too much emotion, they basically become tools as related to bosses taking advantage of them, women taking advantage of them, and people getting extra as related to things. And as they get extra, they are getting more than what your labor is worth. And that's why you don't want to bring too much emotion into the workplace, because having too much emotion can lead to you winding up in a situation where you either don't get the job, or if you do get the job, you won't have it for that much longer. Now, if you want to learn how to identify workplace predators and learn a plan that will help you turbocharge your career and take it to the next level, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers such as Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more workplace videos, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.